So when were you diagnosed with cancer?
In January of 2002.
Oh, it was 5 years ago.
July 6th, 2009.
A collective name for a situation in which a cell has copied or replicated its DNA incorrectly. It soon becomes a collection that you would call a tumor. And in case of cancer, the tumor is described as being malignant in that it is rapidly reproducing and it's taking over the healthy cells around it.
To start off with, what type of cancer did you have?
Mine was breast cancer.
I had breast cancer.
Colon cancer.
All the way from, say, just simple food additives to chemicals generated by industry and put into our air or our water. Okay.
How has cancer impacted your life?
Well, my mom got cancer when I was in grade 8, and so ever since then it's been kind of a struggle because my mom had to go through a lot of chemo, and it was just a hard thing to go through to see her in that pain.
What kind of cancer was your mom diagnosed with?
She had breast cancer.
And what kind of treatment did she undergo?
She got chemo and she got her breast moved.
First would be, or one would be surgical. You know, say in breast cancer, you have your breast removed or parts of. So surgical, and then radiation using different types of electromagnetic radiation to kill off these rapidly reproducing cancer cells. And the third would be chemotherapy, using drugs to try and kill off these cancer cells.
Losing your hair, the drugs, after being on the drugs for a while, they make you very, they put you into a real depressed, kind of dark place for a few days right after you do a treatment out of it. But after a few days, you come up again.
The side effects of all of these, well, both radiation and chemotherapy, is when they kill rapidly developing cancer cells, they also kill your other rapidly developing or reproducing cells, such as blood cells, skin cells, hair cells, and your gametes, sperm and egg.
What kind of treatment did you go through?
Chemo. I had
And-
16 treatments.
And how did that affect you? Like, did it affect you physically or?
Physically, mentally, exhausting, tired. But other than that, I had no other symptoms. Set you back for about 4 days.
Are you involved in anything that supports cancer or cancer prevention?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously the Relay for Life, which I think is really important and I really believe in. But I also belong to a team of women in Prince George that does dragon boating. And so our really big thing is to make ourselves stronger. Not only physically stronger, but as a team stronger and super.
We started a new team this year called Cancer Warriors, and so far we have 14 members in it, all participants. And we've been doing lots and lots of fundraising. At garage sales, we fundraise, go door to door, met all our neighbors, and just been doing lots of fundraising.
I was sitting in the gym and I had the cell phone that day, and it started ringing and it was on the other side of the gym. So I went and I picked it up, and it was my sister, and she was calling from home, and she asked me where I was, and I told her I was at school and when I would be home, and I said 4:30, and she was like, "Can you come home now?" And I just kind of knew what was going on because we talked about it before. And so I grabbed my stuff and I went outside, and when I got into the car, she was like, "Mom has breast cancer and she's getting her breast removed, and you can't cry. We're going to the stores and we'll be back later." And with that, they just dropped me off at home, and it was just me and my mom. And I went to my room and I put my stuff away, and I was trying to hold back the tears because it kind of hit me then, but it was just kind of like a realization. And I went and I started talking to my mom, and she was kind of sobbing, and I didn't know what to do. Like, how do you make a person feel better? It's not like you can take it away.
Well, I was in Edmonton and I got a call from my dad. So he told me all the details, and my stomach went obviously upside down, and I was in shock for exactly a week.
What's it like having someone like so close to you, like have cancer, and like helping them take care of themselves and just?
It was absolutely devastating because she was labeled terminal. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but you're gonna die. There was no cure for her cancer. So that was absolutely devastating for me.
So what was your initial reaction, initial thoughts?
Well, I couldn't believe it. Like, it just didn't seem real because nobody else had it. So it wasn't like, oh, she could probably have it. It was like, she's not gonna have it. I just had like this denial for a really long time.
How did it affect your relationships with your friends and family?
Okay, with my family first, it was the hardest because my husband had a stroke, and so he was in long-term care. So trying to care for him, I was a caregiver, but yet I needed some care myself, so that was really difficult. I had 2 children that were out of school, but my youngest daughter was in school, still in high school, and my greatest fear was that I would die and leave her without someone to help her grow up. And this bothers me a bit, but I don't mind talking about it. But it was a huge fear, and that was my lowest point, I think, when I had my cancer treatment, was talking to my older daughter and saying, if something happens to me, make sure you take care of your younger sister. That was probably my absolute hardest moment, and obviously you can see it still bothers me to think about that. My oldest daughter drove up, just to be with me when I was doing some chemo treatments, and her boss was giving her a bad time about it, but she took the time to do that. And my youngest daughter would drop me off at chemo before she went to school, and then I would have friends there, and the nurses at the hospital were amazing.
So how did it affect your relationship with friends and family?
Well, everybody, got more, serious and concerned, and it was really good because everyone was really supportive and helpful, and my kids really learned a lot, and it affected them in a good way, in the sense that they're usually much more appreciative now of things, and more concern for me and that kind of stuff. So it had some good effects that way. And my husband would come over from Baker Lodge when I was doing my chemo treatments. They were just great. Yeah, people were great and super, super supportive.
My name is Ken, and I pledge to be strong and healthy.
Hi, I'm Keith Stewart, and I pledge not to smoke.
Pledge to be organic.
I plan to eat healthy.
I pledge to stop eating carcinogenic food.